The story of coffee. It's almost impossible to imagine a world without coffee. If you love drinking coffee, you already know how magical it can be, especially on a day when you need a boost of energy or simply a comforting treat. Coffee is a globalized food item, but the US takes the lead when it comes to coffee consumption, with a whopping 400 million cups of coffee consumed daily. But how is this popular beverage made? Everyone recognizes roasted coffee beans, but not many know what the actual coffee plant looks like. Coffee beans are actually found inside a fruit called the coffee cherry. It grows on coffee trees all year round. Coffee beans only grow on the bean belt, with its largest producers being Brazil, Ethiopia, Vietnam, Indonesia, and Colombia. In most countries, it is picked by hand in a labor-intensive and difficult process. Though in places where the landscape is flat, like Brazil, they will use machines to strip the branches. The fruits turn a bright, deep red when ready to be harvested. After harvesting, it then gets transported to the processing plant right away. There are two ways of processing it, the dry method and the wet method. The dry method is an old method of processing coffee beans and is still used today in drier places. The freshly picked cherries are simply laid out onto a large surface and left to dry in the sun. To prevent them from spoiling, they are raked and turned throughout the day and covered at night. This process might take several weeks depending on the weather. It is important for the moisture content of the cherries to drop to 11%. Then there's the wet method. The wet method removes the skin and pulp of the cherry from the bean by going through the pulping machine. After, they are all separated by weight as they pass through water channels. The lighter beans float to the top while the heavier, riper ones sink down. After being separated, they are moved into large water-filled fermentation tanks, which removes the mucilage, a layer over the parchment layer, and dissolves by natural enzymes. Then they are rinsed once more through water channels and are ready for a thorough drying process. After processing, the dried beans known as parchment coffee go through a hulling machine that takes off the final parchment layer. Finally, the defective beans are removed and then the rest are exported. As you can see, coffee doesn't require any sort of agricultural chemicals at all, since the final product is just ground up coffee bean. Most coffee in markets and stores have been certified and are made sure not to contain any chemical substance that may harm the consumer's health. To make sure you're purchasing good coffee, look for certified organic coffee or look for the ones that are labeled sustainable. But for the most part, coffee is a very sustainable product when done properly from bean to cup without the use of man-made chemicals and other irrelevant things. So why is coffee so popular today? Coffee is marketed throughout the world, whether that be by social media, ads, shops, cafes, etc. It is displayed everywhere. It can be bought in markets as ground or roasted beans, or consumed in coffee shops such as Starbucks. An average cup of coffee costs $2.38. with the average consumption in the US being 3.2 cups of coffee per day for both men and women. This is mainly because of its known properties of making us feel more awake. The recommended amount of caffeine is usually 400 milligrams per day for healthy adults. This is equivalent to about 5.2 shots of espresso. The recommended amount of caffeine varies depending on your body weight, health condition, and age. Drinking too much caffeine can cause anything from restlessness to muscle tumors. And the combination of coffee and stress can make you experience a psychosis-like symptom, such as hearing noises that aren't actually there. Coffee is everywhere. It is sustainable, yummy, an energy booster, and is a part of many people's everyday lives. Keep your consumption to no more than 3 cups of coffee daily, and just take your time to enjoy it. Thank you so much for watching.